Hello world, Patricia O'Connor and Frida Reba Darcy here today on the Bonsai balcony. What you see before you is a little pair of pines, just a tiny little pair of pines, and I'm trying to jump across cable and camera. Today on the Bonsai balcony, I'm Patricia O'Connor. My partner in crime, Frida Reba Darcy, is right here, stepping into frame. And what we're looking at here, is I have a couple of small Japanese black pines that we've been in on this together. You and I did this. And I say you and I did this because it's not laying blame. I think we did okay. We started these two little Japanese black pines from seed, and with like however many cups we're going, we sprouted these in my kitchen. And while we were doing that, a little whimsical thing happened. I dropped two seeds in the same cup, and these two guys came up growing in the same cup. So then I kept them together. I instead of separating them right then, I kept them together. And now they're probably about a year old, and this little bonsai pot's really cute, but it's also kind of deep for its size. I mean, so I thought, well, it's perfect. I'll put two trees in it. They get a little bit more space between the two of them. Hopefully they have enough, and I keep them fed, and we just try to keep them happy and stuff. But I hadn't wired them, and they've got some good motion kind of on their own. That's probably why I hadn't really felt like I needed it. But we're gonna fix that today. I'm gonna wire these guys, and so what I've got here was just like what I like to do. What I like to do for my Japanese black pines is I like to wire those guys with copper. Yeah, I like to wire those guys with copper. And so I've got two strands of copper there. Since I'm not repotting them, I'm not going to bring the wire up from the bottom of the pot the way I do a lot of times. What I'm going to do, there you go, sweetheart. What I am going to do is just going to stab twice next to each trunk. And I may have to double this wire up. Yeah, my neck size is a little too big. I may have to double this wire up. So in the meantime, we're going to remove, these are lumps of biogold, which is the fertilizer that I feed these little guys. Lots of exposed roots on both of them, and this is a nice little pairing. They've done this themselves. I didn't do that. They did that themselves. But if you could see up close as I can, one of them has a very cool exposed root feature that'll just get better with time if we don't break it. And the other runs along the ground a little bit. I don't know if I'm showing you, or don't want to dump all this substrate out, but the trunk runs along the ground in a way that makes it look very coastal, which is also, if you see, they both have a my voice is cracking, it's puberty. They both have a lean to them. It's kind of like coastal trees would do. I should probably lean into that, I suppose. We'll see what happens. I'm going to get started. We'll see what we get going here. My tools of choice, I'm not going to need that. My tools of choice today is I have really small, I have really small tweezers and pliers. A boot. So we'll see if those come in handy or not. Let's start over the other end, the straight side here. And by stabbing them, I just mean I'm going to stab this wire into this dry substrate. Get in there. Work your way in there. There we go. Now, finding a good place. What I will do then is grab it, wire and trunk at the same time, because what I don't want to happen is I do not want this wire spinning around in the pot under the, you know, inside this substrate, harming the roots. So we're just going to, yeah, it'll probably take 2 of these. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to hold the motion with just one. Now, copper, you know, you might look at this and go, well, of course not. That's so thin. Copper can go a third lighter with copper than you can aluminum, just because it's harder. Get out of there. What I'm trying to do is make sure I don't wire any needles. If you can move them, move them. If you don't think you can move them easy enough, pull them, because they're no good wired down. They seemingly would take energy away from the tree that tries to sustain the needles, while at the same time not getting any return because there's this wire there. All right, so I just did that. And now we're gonna go, I'm gonna have weenie skewer, scissors, cutters that I won't need, some gin pliers that I like to use as pliers mostly, wire cutters that I probably will need, and increasingly small little pliers down to a tiny little set of channel locks. So sometimes what I like to do is take pliers and grab a wire here, and then take pliers and grab another wire, and then try to do that is a lot easier. I can get tighter bends than I can with my fingertips. And a lot of times I don't think of that until late, because when you start struggling, it seems kind of alien to think about picking up a tool and trying to work through a tool when you're having a manipulation problem with your own fingers. But a lot of times it is easier if you just go ahead and bite the bullet and do it that way. Which is to say that I found myself struggling before and grab the pliers and then go, oh, why didn't I do that sooner? That suddenly, that job got a lot easier. Roots. We have some escape roots, so this pot is a little wobbly. It sits well on the surface by itself. It's not, it doesn't have a problem with the high leg, but I do have a tiny little root ball coming out of the drainage hole. I am all about escape roots for tiny little trees like this. I take old substrate and put them in the drip trays, which in this case my drip trays are actually gutters, but same difference. Got battling trees here, guys. Need to stop. We have, for quite some time, for a couple of years now, used bamboo or weenie skewers or our stainless chopsticks to where I'll wrap a wire around a tree trunk like that, and then I'll wrap a tree trunk around a weenie skewer or something, and we can get some hellacious motion. It's something I might think about, but I'm not sure that I get that feel with the two of these. I think they ought to do something. I think they're both already kind of giving us their own natural motion, and we ought to, I don't feel married to it, but I think they're both going in that direction based on where they were sitting on my balcony and what the wind was doing to them naturally from moment one. They were born here. So I probably won't do the style that I call Cheerio, which is my style, and do something a little bit more. We'll probably do something a little bit more subtle, because also it's two of them. I don't have a lot of room to go swinging tree trunks around. These guys are cool looking. The needles are really long for their size. We don't expect the needles to look at all really convincing at this stage in the game. However, we are going to do, because this is not a repotted tree. These two little guys have been in this pot for about a year. This is their second season in it. When it comes time to do candles this year, we will be doing candles on these guys. We will be doing candles. I didn't do any early bud cutting on them. I don't know that I need to. Cleaning up some of these. We can clean up the needles on these guys while we're here. Also, like I said earlier, when you go to wire one of these, go ahead and remove any scraggly or under needles or stuff. It just gives you room to work when you're wiring. Don't wire down your needles. Those cause the tree energy, and they don't give anything back. So just go ahead and clean up the ones that, give yourself a path to run your wires, is what I'm saying. Now, what are we going to do? All right. I'm going to grab the wire where it meets the trunk. Then I'm grabbing a little bit of the trunk and mostly the wire. That worked out, you see. And then let's go back. Okay, now I've got to mimic something with this one. That's why I kind of, it's just like, oh, here she goes. No, I've got two trees, so I've got to think about whatever they do, they've got to do like they've kind of been hanging out for a while and have worked this out between themselves. They already have, and now here's Pat coming all in here. So what it feels right to do to me is to try to end up with the tops basically in the same place that they were, more or less, in relation to one another from where they started. So anything I do from here to here is all fine. Let's put the top here and then put the other top here, because that's kind of how they were, even if we're doing this or we're doing this. So yeah, no, I'm not going to take one of these at this point and make it a cascade or nothing really wild. Oh, I think we've just, wow. Now, like I said, this year we are going to work on our candles. And at that point, I mean, notably, the needles on these guys are super, super, super long. I mean, what are we even talking about here? They are. But I really like the motion that we just got in it. And this is the first year that it's our first year in our bonsai pot. So this is the first year that we're going to do our candles and start working on our needle reduction. So that'll just get better and better and better. Of course, our main goal will try to make those needles small enough, like tiny, tiny, tiny. And that's not going to be this year. What we're doing here is going to be this year. That and candle cutting and all that stuff. All right, I still got not enough, not enough. All right, we're gonna wind this up. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy. I potted up these little guys, and they have been doing really, really well. You see, I've got a length of wire here. Where did we stop? Okay, I've got wire left that I should probably just cut it. Do I need that? Will I need that later, y'all? No and no. Go get that wire pack. Give it. I need to bring it around. I need to take one of these and bring it, the one on the left, I need to bring it around this way and hook it back in. You heard me. Yes. Tip up. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Heck yeah. I'd buy that for $1. Like and subscribe if you guys have not already. I look forward to these guys continuing to grow and hang out in this cute little Japanese pot. These are my little wabi-sabi little accidents, and I would never separate them. They've been hanging out here together. My goal is to give them enough stuff of everything that they need to hang out from now on, just like they are. I think we put some really good motion in those guys. I think that it's also kind of cool that I let the motion that between the two of them, that, you know, I worked off of the direction that they were already leaning this way, so I just did a little pat thing in there. And these guys, now here's what we can expect. I'm looking at this with my Patricia eyes. What we can expect from this is, because it has wire on it and because I've bent it, we can expect those two little trunks to fatten up around those wires, to just really, really get fat. And yeah, that's plenty cool. So whenever the candles come out, and then we cut the candles, we're going to cut the candles on these guys, and there they are, those guys. And then whenever we go through in summer and cut those candles, what those two trees will do in response to that action is they will flush out 4 or 5, a cluster of candles in that very same spot once again. And we will go back through then in late summer, fall, and look at that cluster of new little buds that came up and pick down to a pair that are of equal strength, like this, or in some kind of way where we can bend them like this. And then we'll select down to 2, and that's how we do this. From that point on, we will be working our way towards shorter and shorter and shorter needles. Not like these guys. Some of these guys could already go, but we'll let them go when they're 3rd-year needles. This is not a 3-year-old tree, so how can it have 3rd-year needles? Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. This is another one of our little Japanese black pine projects. We have quite a few more Japanese black pines, and we also have ponderosas, and we have a few maples and some wisterias and some oaks that we're pretty proud of. So I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. And thank you all so much for watching. Chopstick. Yay, we were still shooting.